To get started with rendering, we're going to cover a few things. First, let's start with rendering just an image. Click Render and then Render Image. After your image is rendered, we need to save the image. Go to Image, Save As, or Save, or you can press Alt-S. Name it and choose the location that you want to save it to. Next, we'll talk about rendering and animation. There are some things that we need to cover. Here's our resolution. You can set the pixel density and the percentage at which it renders. You need to choose an output. This will be where it's saved to. Your file format will be defaulted to PNG. This is actually the best thing to render as, because then you can go back and render from a specific frame if anything messes up. But for this example, we'll switch to FFmpeg. Then you need to open encoding and change it from Matroska to MPEG-4. If you have audio in your animation, you need to go to the audio section and choose MP3 or any format that you like. Then go to Render and Render Animation. You can preview your animation in Blender by going to Render and then View Animation. If you want to just make sure that your animation works well, you can render quickly by doing what's called a play blast. Go to View and then Viewport Render Animation. This will render whatever your viewport sees. As you can see, each frame is rendering out very quickly. And now that that's done, I'll go to Render and View Animation. Then I can see how well my animation is looking at full speed. Let's go to our rendered view. Right now I'm rendering with the Eevee render engine. If you're using Eevee, you can turn on and off ray tracing. Ray tracing allows bounced lighting in the viewport now. You can turn on and off motion blur. Here's my scene with motion blur on. And here it is with motion blur off. The other render engine we have is Cycles. It's far more accurate than Eevee, and also far slower. In our render settings we have viewport, and we can set it to denoise, and we have our samples, and we have our render samples. By default it'll be 4096, and you can lower that, or you can set a time limit. If you only want each frame to be about 15 seconds, then it would take 15 seconds. And you can turn on denoise. I also like to change my light paths. The default is 12 on some of these, but I will change it down to 3 or 2 because it still looks pretty good and your render times will be a little bit quicker. Make sure that you've set your device to GPU compute. Then go to Edit, Preferences, and then System, and if you have an RTX card, you would use Optics, or a GTX card, you would use CUDA. Having an RTX card makes Cycles work a lot faster. Go ahead and try out these different render engines and render settings. See what works best for your scene.